So I just watched John at the Digital Gramophone's Americana tag. I've seen a bunch of these, and honestly, I haven't done. He called me out, so I figured, all right, I'll do it. And I haven't done one because it just seemed like a lot of work. No other reason. Of course, I can talk about Americana, alt country, folk music, all of it. Oh, I can go weeks on end talking about that. It's clearly my favorite genre. It's a genre that, especially the alt country scene in the 90s, the genre that really sort of accelerated and took my love of music to another level. So I figured, fine, I'll do it. Not that anybody's really begging for it, but I think I left one out, one or two. So apologies. Banjo on the cover, I just was too lazy to look for it. Maybe a Bill Monroe, I don't know. I have no idea. But I have completed, I think, all but one or two. So let's get to it. I'll try to go through these fairly quickly. So favorite Americana artist, same as John, Digital Gramophone, Uncle Tupelo. And this is their final record, their first and only major label release. Anodyne, perfect record. I'm going to listen to this after this video, just since I'm in this Americana spirit. Just a tremendous band that I never got to see live. There it is. This is Jeff Tweedy, Ken Coomer, and Jay Farrar. Discovered them in mid-94, right after they broke up, and everything sort of took off from there. My brother and I, both my brothers, a huge connection over Uncle Tupelo. I mean, if I were to say my favorite band overall ever, they're right up there. Wilco, I mean, we're talking bands. Springsteen and the E Street Band, Wilco, Bob Dylan's on a... Uncle Tupelo's right near the top. The most important band of my life, Uncle Tupelo. An album with great harmonies. The Flatlanders, more a legend than a band. This is up there with the most that I've ever spent on a record. I got this maybe a year or two ago. Lane and I think Lane introduced me to this record, sent it to me on CD, and we were both just over the moon about it. Just obviously incredible talents, Jimmy Dale Gilmore, Joe Ely, Butch Hancock. This is one of the first, I think, truly great alt-country Americana records. Favorite female Americana artist, I agree with John. I mean, there are tons, but I would have to say Lucinda Williams. I mean, I was thinking a few days ago about my favorite artists, my favorite active artists right now, and they're all female, or all female led. Big Thief, Boy Genius, Courtney Barnett, Waxahachie. I'd say if I were to list my top 10 favorite bands going right now, 9 of them would be female artists. And there's a bunch that I was gonna get a second cup of coffee for this, which I should have done. But I mean, Lucinda Williams, I guess, but it could be Kelly Willis. Just so many. So what's next? Favorite acoustic cover song? I would have to go with, and this is without doing much research, but Sunvolt's cover of Ronnie Wood's Mystifies Me, which is the last track on Sunvolt's brilliant debut record, Trace. My friend Brian, who I mentioned a bunch on here from college, his wedding song was Mystifies Me, the Sunvolt version. I went out and bought a bunch of Ronnie Wood solo records after that record came out, because I didn't even know that Ronnie Wood had, I didn't even know that he had solo records. Ronnie Wood, obviously, from the Rolling Stones. Artists you want a new album from in 2024. Okay, this is a bit of a stretch, but I've heard rumblings, or at least maybe an interview with Gary Loris, where he said he wanted to do a record with Jeff Tweedy. So I've always thought, do you want to talk about harmonies? Imagine a Gary Loris, Jeff Tweedy record. Why don't you guys do it? I know you're both watching this. There's no way. That would just be, I mean, two of the giants of the alt-country Americana scene. Favorite Americana of 2023, no surprise here. It's my favorite record of last year, Jason Isbell's Weather Vanes. Gets better and better every time I listen to it. I still think Southeastern is his best record, but this is right up there. I'd say it's his second best solo record. Heartbreaking Ballad. So it's not on this record. This is Big Thief's Capacity, which I have yet to open. I'll open this today. I listen to it all the time digitally. Shark Smile, what a great song. I love this band so much. But Adrienne, is it Adrienne or Adriana Lanker? Her new single is called Sadness as a Gift. Just a beautiful, beautiful song, but really, it's a sad song. I listened to it a bunch this morning. Maybe it's a Sunday mood. A drinking song, we're going back to Uncle Tupelo and the song Punch Drunk. A lot of drinking themes on this record, Still Feel Gone, which is my favorite Uncle Tupelo record, and I've often said my favorite record of all time. I don't know that it is, but it's certainly in the conversation. Unillustrated album cover, went with this incredible record, Steve Earle's El Corazon. This was part of his 3-album stretch after being released from prison. I Feel Alright, or Train to Come was first, I think. Then I Feel Alright, then El Corazon, which I think was his best run as an artist. And that record is incredible, El Corazon. Americana Supergroup, this is always the first one that comes to mind for me. Golden Smog, I played this record endlessly in college in the mid to late 90s. Got a bunch of my college friends into this record. It's obviously Gary Loris from the Jayhawks, Dan Murphy from Soul Asylum, Mark Perlman from the Jayhawks. I think this is Noah Levy from the Honey Dogs, Jeff Tweedy from Wilco and Uncle Tupelo, and Craig Johnson from Rum Westy Run. They've also had a number of different fill-ins over the years. Jody Stevens from Big Star. Was Chris Martin? No, maybe. Down by the Old Mainstream. This is a tremendous record. They also have a great record called Weird Tales. Just a great, great super group. Did Jeff Tweedy call them a stupor group? Something like that. Artists you never got to see live. Waylon Jennings. Man, I wish I could have seen Waylon. He's probably my favorite country artist. Him and Johnny Cash. Sort of old school, like 70s-ish country. Just love Waylon Jennings. I'm going to put this record on today as well. So, Waylon, wish I saw him. Artists you would like to see live, and I may finally make this happen. Bill Callahan. He has just announced a few shows in San Francisco. I'm going to get tickets for at least one of them. I've never seen Bill Callahan. I was a late comer to Bill Callahan's music. My buddy, I don't know why I'm taking this out. My buddy Brian, the college friend, loves Smog, Bill Callahan. He got me into him. Artists you've seen the most. It's not even close. Wilco. Probably seen him 50 to 60 times. I know sometimes I used to say like 70, then I would say 40. I don't know. It's probably around 50. 40 to 50. And this is the most important Wilco record to me. And this is the original of Being There. There weren't many copies of this. I lent it to a friend of mine many years ago, and he wrecked it. So it's not in the best shape, but Wilco, I've seen so many times. Favorite duet is off of the album Red Hot and Bothered for the benefit for the Red Hot Foundation. And it is Jay Farrar and Kelly Willis doing Townes Van Zant's Rex's Blues. A favorite song of mine, and man, they just nail it. That is another duo. if Kelly Willis and Jay Farrar were to do a record together, wow, that would be great. Two more, 5 lesser-known Americana acts. So I only have a record from one. I mean, they're not that lesser-known, but Freakwater, great band from the 90s. I think they had a record not too long ago as well. Janet Bean, Catherine Irwin are the 2 leads. Just love this band. I think I saw them once, maybe at the Mercury Lounge, I think. And 4 others, the Backsliders. I believe they're from Chapel Hill. Chip Robinson, he also has an incredible solo record called Milo, which I've never heard anyone talk about. Came out maybe 8 years ago. I think it's on streaming services. I would check that out if you haven't. But the Backsliders had 2 fantastic records. I think they were signed to Atlantic briefly. They were definitely on Major briefly, I'm pretty sure. Throwing Rock to the Moon, great record. And Southern Lines, just 2 wonderful records. And I mentioned Six String Drag. I know John, the Digital Gramophone, is a fan. They have a great record called Hi Hat. It's Kenny Roby, who has been putting out great solo records for many years. Mara, who I've mentioned many times, their debut, Let's Cut the Crap and Hook Up later on tonight, is a top 20 all-time record for me. Great band from Philly. Saw them probably 20 times. And then another Pennsylvania band, Frog Holler, and I mention them because my brother Lane not only loved them, but I think he was friends with them and maybe booked them for a while. Listen to the song Pennsylvania by Frog Holler. Great song. I think I saw them maybe twice. Maybe with Marat? I don't know. First Americana album, I think. I'd call this an Americana. This is definitely an Americana album. Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, which came out in 1982. I probably had this on vinyl. It was one of my first records on vinyl. This is just, I mean, it's often talked about as one of the great all-time records in terms of singer-songwriter. I don't know why I keep flipping it. I'm going to listen to this again today. They recently reissued a mobile fit or whatever, the high end of it. It was Vinyl Me Please. And it sounds tremendous. So I'm going to put that on today, a little pre-Super Bowl record. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? No. Did it real fast. I watched John's video 30 minutes ago. Wrote down the list, grabbed the records. This is my sound. But Uncle Tupelo is the heartbeat of all of it. It's funny, this is sitting next to me. If it said Best Americana Soundtrack, I would have said this. This is my favorite soundtrack ever, Inside Llewyn Davis. My favorite Coen Brothers movie. And the soundtrack to this is just unreal. That'll do it. Oh, here's another good one. Why not? And then a great benefit album, Sweet Relief. This is great album, a benefit for Victoria Williams. Great artists. I keep saying great. Soul Asylum, Lucinda Williams, Pearl Jam, Buffalo Tom, Maria McKee, Matthew Sweet, Evan Dando, the Jayhawks. I remember I went into a record store in Ridgewood, New Jersey in the late 90s, and they had a Sweet Relief t-shirt, which I bought and wore 1,000,000 times. And the photo that I often talk about of me and Jeff Tweedy, it's just out of sight. The first Jeff Tweedy picture I took, there's 2, one from 1995 and then another from 2013. 1995 was at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston, and I'm wearing that Sweet Relief t-shirt. Maybe I'll show it on an upcoming video. Thank you, John, for the nudge. Hopefully there's something in here that you guys have discovered. I could do a whole video, and I have done sort of videos on Americana artists that I wish more people knew about. Talk about Peter Bruntnell, the Bottle Rockets, just so much great music from that 90s into 2000s period. Thanks for coming by, and hope you all enjoy Super Bowl Sunday.